as you know, our view is that, of course, it does apply to you, and we're working on that basis.
Is there some sort of timeline on that asterisk, on that veto, because it is hanging like the sword of Damocles over the people of Gibraltar?
I think we all know the position of the Government of Spain, reflected in the original sort of negotiating guidelines of the 27 member states. It's not our position, of course, as UK. I think the important thing is that we have agreement today on implementation period, that we're moving ahead, we're giving more certainty to people and to businesses, whether they be Spaniards in the UK or Brits here or the people of Gibraltar. And we will continue to work incredibly closely with the Government of Gibraltar to ensure the future prosperity and security of Gibraltar.
Well, you can see what's happening on both sides. Do you think Spain will exercise that veto?
Look, I don't personally like the talk of vetoes. I think we're working closely with the Government of Gibraltar, the Government of Spain, to move forward, and to ensure that not only the implementation period but the future agreement, that all of that is going to apply to Gibraltar, and that we can establish an even closer collaboration in the future in the interests of the people of Gibraltar and of the neighbouring communities.
Well, I'm sure that the people of Gibraltar may be forgiven for thinking that they may be pawns, and there is some sort of quid pro quo here.
They're not pawns in this. The British government's commitment to the people and government of Gibraltar is well known, hasn't changed and won't change.
We talk of a different tone, of a more positive, pragmatic tone. What would you say has changed?
So I think, first of all, what's changed is we've made real progress in the negotiations. Real progress on a lot of very difficult issues. And first and foremost on the issue of people, of citizens, which I think is absolutely fundamental. It's been our priority throughout. But I think what's also good is we're now moving into a different phase of the negotiations. We're looking towards the future. And I think the question that kind of people ask themselves is, or should be asking themselves, is what sort of future do we want between the UK and the European Union? What sort of future relationship do we want? Our view is that it should be the closest possible relationship, the most positive possible relationship, not just in the commercial sphere, but also in the areas of security, culture, education and the rest. And I think when you think about it, when you say to somebody, well, what sort of education, what sort of relationship do you want in 5 years' time, 10 years' time? I don't think there can be any other reply than the most positive, the closest relationship possible, because we might be leaving the European Union, but we're not moving. We are where we are, whether it be the people of Gibraltar or the people of the United Kingdom. We will remain a European country with the same neighbours as ever, the same commercial relationships, the same human relationships, and facing the same security threats. So we have to work together. We have to find ways in which, outside the European Union, we can continue to cooperate, to collaborate with our European partners.
When we talk of the future of Gibraltar, we hope for a fluid frontier. How do you think that will pan out, and free movement of people?
I agree entirely. I think the fluidity of the border is absolutely crucial. I think the good thing is that increasingly the Spanish government, the Junta of Andalucía and others recognise that the fluidity of the border is really important to people living on both sides of the border. And I think we should be working together to ensure that it absolutely remains the case after Britain's departure from the European Union.
Bit of a personal question. Do you ever feel that you're in the firing line?
I'm delighted to work closely with the Government of Gibraltar in the interests of the people of Gibraltar and the people of the United Kingdom.